Okay, once again, I'm going to tell the story. It was a Friday night, and the kids were out of the town visiting their grandparents with their mom Jessica. And Patrick was sitting at home sipping beer and flicking through the channels on TV. It had been an intense week at work, and he had been dreaming about this free evening since Monday. He imagined how he would take a bottle of beer and order pizza and watch a baseball game on cable or play video games all by himself. He was excited about chilling out on the couch and having a great time, just enjoying himself without anyone bugging him. But that was his plan for a Friday night, and it's not really that he lost interest in socializing and going out, hanging out with his friends. He was just too lazy to make plans, get dressed, and go out of his apartment. But staying at home turned out to be less fun than he had hoped, and he um, um, he couldn't wait his family to get back. While he was checking the show times, trying to get a ticket to a new Star Wars episode, his phone rang. It was Steve. He was one of his best friends since they were in the seventh grade, and they had been through high school and college together. But then he got a job in a different state, and now they see each other once in a blue moon. So whenever he is in town, they have a crazy night out, get drunk, and have a blast. So Steve was in town for a weekend, and he felt like grabbing a bite in a pizza cafe, and then going bar hopping, just like they used to do when they were younger. And he wanted Patrick to keep him company. So Steve reserved a table, and Patrick called Ben and David. So the four friends met in that small pizzeria, and where they used to go when they were at college almost every Friday night before going clubbing. And so they kept the tradition alive by sharing a delicious cheesy pizza. After they were full, they headed to the nearest bar across the street, and they took advantage of their Friday night happy hour and enjoyed a free round of shots. And they chatted and made silly jokes and laughed a lot, like they were in their 20s again. They recalled plenty of stories and memories from their college life. As the place was becoming overcrowded by the locals, they decided to go to an authentic Irish bar that was just 2 streets away, and that place was highly recommended, and it turned out to be a nice place indeed. They enjoyed some beer and whiskey, and they spoke a lot about their jobs and families and their plans for future. The next location for them was rock club, where the local bands gave live performances at the weekends, and the entrance was free of charge if you order the drink. And by the way, they had a special guest that night. A talented soul singer from Boston was going to present her new album. But unfortunately, when they arrived, it turned out that the show was called off due to the flight delay, so they didn't have a chance to enjoy the concert. They had another round of drinks and felt like going dancing. So the next stop for them was a disco club that was playing music from the 80s and 90s. The club was celebrating its anniversary, so the first round of drinks was on the house. But they were already quite drunk by that point, and so they ended up taking part in a karaoke contest. Everyone was impressed by Steve's singing skills, while Patrick just got a polite applause as he was walking off the stage. Listening to love ballads from the youth, David looked sad. He just broke up with his girlfriend last month and he was still missing her. So his friends tried to cheer him up. They remembered how they picked up girls when they were studying at college, and they told that his ex-girlfriend didn't deserve him. It was just a waste of time dating her. So they saw a girl that had been making eyes at David for the past hour, and they suggested David to go to invite her for a dance. Finally, he gave up and had a chat with the girl. He invited her for a dance, and when they returned to their table, he looked much more cheerful. It turned out that they had a lot in common, and she gave him her number, so he's going to call her the next day. As the club was shutting down for the night, they had to leave, and they hopped in a small bar next door and stayed there till 4 a.m. And so Patrick told that he just had a time of his life and he really enjoyed the company of his friends. Then they had a drink to their friendship, and that round was on Patrick. Then they admitted that they'd better meet more often. So for the next time, they were going to see the match. The Knicks vs Lakers, but unfortunately all the tickets were sold out, so they couldn't get the tickets. Then Ben advised to try out going to an escape room. It's a kind of game where you are locked in the room and have to solve the puzzles to escape, and this kind of entertainment is catching on, and you have to book the tickets in advance. By the way, Steve is buying a cottage in September, and he invited his friends for a housewarming party. He decided to have a sleepover with board games and movies and have a good time together. So it was time to go home. They called a taxi, and the bill was on Patrick this time.